You know what I mean? He's like a Baltic language no one knows. You know what I mean? The Drinker is a joker, not a films reviewer. No, he's a serious film reviewer, bro. Like, you watch his reviews, bro. Like, and I asked him about that too. You cannot watch this film once and understand it fully. I feel you on that. They say Nolan wants to do James Bond next. He could do it. I think James Bond is very, very simple. I think he could do James Bond. He could absolutely do it. But he doesn't have to because he's not blending that other genre in there. We're not trying to do science fiction. We're doing Bond. I think he would do great. Like, look what he did with Batman. I think he would do great. Even when you look at Inception, those sequences were great. Like the action sequences was amazing. But the Drinker, I asked him about that, bro. I said, hey man, your YouTube thing, like I discovered you on YouTube. I just kind of stumbled across your content. Man, how did you come up with this persona? And he told me, he's like, I review films. He's like, I'm in the business. I'm an I'm an author, I'm a filmmaker. And he was saying, I just would review films. That's what I did. I didn't get a whole lot of traction. He was doing it because he's passionate about it. He said one day he came home, he was lit drinker, right? He was lit Will. He came home and he did a review. He's like, let me just go ahead and knock this review out. Now he wasn't like toe up. He had a couple and he thought, I'm good enough to do this. I'm fine. But that slurry, you know what I mean, that slurred speech, whatever, and all that came out. And he was like, man, that video took off. And he was like, people love that persona because he hits the points. When you watch Critical Drinker, bro, he's hitting points. He knows what he's talking about. But he is entertaining. I get where you're coming from, but he knows what he's talking about. Everything he's talking about in this review is spot on, in my opinion. And you go back and look at some of his, I don't agree with all his reviews, but even the ones I don't agree with, he's technically sound in what he's saying. Of course he would be. He makes movies. He writes books, right? He tells stories. So he told me, he was like, yeah, man, I came home. Had a little bit of a slur. I wasn't drunk or anything like that. I had a few drinks, but he's like, man, that video took off. So he's like, I just began doing it. And he was like, and thus the Critical Drinker was born. And I was like, word? He's like, yeah, man.